Welcome to everyone joining us today from the US and abroad for an in-depth discussion on luxury real estate around the world. I'm Jorge Arauz, editor-in-chief of Brickell magazine, and I'll be your moderator today. We have some panelists joining us from Barnes International Realty, as well as RSM Global Tax Solutions. We're going to be going on this webinar through the US, London, Madrid, and St. Barts. We're going to go ahead and just jump onto some questions now, beginning with Barnes. This question is for Thibault de Saint-Vincent, Barnes president. Good afternoon, Thibault.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the first question here. It's directed to you. An exit strategy is currently planned to end the lockdown in the United States and China, and this coming Monday in France and most major cities worldwide. How has luxury real estate fared during this crisis?
Well, the answer may surprise you. Not only has luxury real estate withstood the blow, but it will probably be one of the few to come out of the crisis on top. The coronavirus crisis has emerged against a backdrop that has been extremely favorable to high-end international real estate. Demand has exceeded supply for the last dozen years or so around the world, with markets that differ depending on the political and economic factors specific to each country, and property profiles that differ from one city to another and from one beach or ski resort to another. The coronavirus has thus emerged in an euphoric market in Paris, a market returning to growth in Miami, one that was beginning to wane in Madrid, and conversely, a market that was beginning to rebound in London with the Brexit. The recovery from the crisis will therefore be different in Paris, Madrid, and London, just like it will also differ from one holiday destination to another.
Thank you, Thibault. Thibault, this question is also for you. In what ways does luxury real estate represent a safe haven during this period?
Well, high-end real estate had already been considered as a safe haven for some 20 years from a financial point of view. But the coronavirus crisis has made our clients realize that having a well-located quality property with large volume, a great view, a charming terrace, a garden is also the best haven from a hostile outside world. It is something that we had forgotten, but property is not just a financial haven. It is also a physical haven in addition to being a professional base camp. Most buyers are now fully aware of this.
Now, Thibault, is this something that applies to all of the markets that Barnes represents?
Yes, we have received numerous calls in all of the city which we operate, from investors ready to act quickly to acquire premium properties at an interesting price. At the same time, we are also receiving calls from private individuals in a hurry to buy, as they have large sums that they do not want to leave in their bank accounts for too long. So we have observed that high-end real estate is best withstanding the crisis in the world's most popular cities and top holiday destinations.
Okay, I understand that you have the results from the 2020 Barnes Global Property Handbook available. Would you like to share some of that with us?
Yes, I'm going to share the, just a moment, I have to share it with you. Every year we are doing, okay, yeah, it's here. So yes, every year we are doing the Barnes Global Property Handbook, which is a study about the high net worth individuals and ultra high net worth individuals. This about their behaviors regarding the real estate market. So, sorry, those buyers, they buy based on three criteria. The emotion, they buy in a city where you have history, where you have culture, where you have a sustainability. They also buy based on practical criteria like the proximity of business, like the schools, good universities, transportation, and they buy based on financial criteria, which are like profitability, possibility to have potential capital gains, and revenue. We can see that our clientele wants to diversify as best as possible its portfolio, and they invest not only in the primary residence but also secondary home, and then they try to diversify in different countries, like in the Eurozone, in the dollar zone, in the Swiss franc or pound zone. Then they will, on top of the second home, they will invest in vineyards, in hotels, hunting properties, art, yachting. So you can see that this clientele is very diversified, and that's why we like to accompany them globally, because they need to diversify at the maximum. These clients has always been growing. The ultra net worth individuals are today 265,000. They'll be 350,000 in 2023. And we can see that they were 20 years ago, more or less 100,000. So this clientele is always growing, and they invest 6.2% of their wealth of their assets in luxury real estate. So that's why luxury real estate has always been a growing market. 67% of them are entrepreneurs. They are self-made men, and this part of the clientele is always growing every year. It used to be 67.4% last year. Every year we publish the Barnes City Index, which represent the top 50 cities, in the world, which are the most international cities based on 3 criteria: practical, emotional, and financial, that we've seen at the beginning. So this year, the big news was Paris #1. Paris came from #5 to the #1 because it has been the 4th year of growing market in Paris, with the price which have been growing by 10% every year in 2016, 17, 18, and 19. And just before the coronavirus crisis, we were booming in Paris, and still we can see that the demand is very high. New York is staying at the second place. Last year it was Hong Kong, but Hong Kong moved to the 5th place because of all the riots and many things were happening in Hong Kong. And we can see that London, which used to be on top of the list during 30 years, is now #6 because of the hesitation about the Brexit during 3-4 years. And now we can forecast that next year it should be the year of the comeback for London. So Paris, so we wanted to make a little focus on Paris because it's the #1. We've seen a continued value in volumes and in price in Paris. Paris has now become, with London, they are the top 2 cities in Europe to be really international. And we can see that regarding international city in Europe, you have 4 cities. You have London, Paris, Madrid, and Lisbon. So those are the 4 real, truly international cities in Europe. This is an example of a sale that we've done for an apartment in Paris with more or less 15,000 euro per square meter. You can have very high quality property in Paris. We also are going to make a focus today with Chloé on London. London is the international city by excellence. With New York, it has always been the international city for all the advantage and the qualities that you've seen there. And it's becoming again a buyer market, and because we are at the end of kind of little crisis with the Brexit that has made the price go down by 10% every year in 2016, 17, 18, and 19. So this is to show that maybe now this is a time to invest in London, because the prices are probably now 30 to 35% less expensive than it used to be 4 years ago. So maybe this is time to invest in London. This is an example of a property that has been sold in Chelsea. Then in this study, we also focus on the top 5 oceanfront destinations. So this year, St. Barts was the #1 with Porto Cervo, Koh Samui, the French Riviera, and the Balearic Islands. So St. Barts, we are going to study the market in St. Barts with Xavier Pignet, with the director of St. Barts, and you'll see that it's a truly interesting location, because there was Hurricane Irma like 2 years ago. But despite the hurricane, we could see that the price went up by more or less 20% since the hurricane, and we can think that there is a possibility to increase more, because this is one of the best locations in the world for as long as we speak of sea destinations. So we'll go through St. Barts with Xavier. This is an example of a property which is for rent in St. Barts. The thing in St. Barts is you can have a very good return with seasonal rental properties. This is a property which is for sale. Then in the study, we also go through mountain destinations. So mountain destination this year, the Swiss Alps were #1, then followed by the French Alps, the Italian Alps, Colorado, of course, with Aspen and Vale, and the Austrian Alps. So those are the top 5 destinations in the world. So I'm going to let the other speakers present their location, but just for you to know, those are all the Barnes location all around the world, and you can see that we can help you invest in many destinations, and in each of these destinations you have a truly specialist team who can help you globally, not only with finding the property, but also maybe remodeling the property, finding a loan, or managing the property. Thank you very much.
Thibault, for sharing all of that information with us and the findings of your research. We really appreciate that. I'd like to introduce everyone now to Mehjati. He's a 20-year Miami resident who has extensive experience in real estate, development, construction, and property management as well. And he runs Barnes Invest Abroad program for the US. Mehdi, we have a couple of questions that have been coming in here for you. We're just going to jump right into them, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Hello, George. Hello, everyone.
Hi, how's it going? All right, so let's see. All right, so the first question here for you is, Miami's nicknamed the Magic City, and with good reason. South Florida is considered the gateway to Europe, the Americas, and the world. Can you share what it's like to operate strategically from Miami's urban core in Brickell?
Absolutely, Miami is the magic city. So we strategically operate from our Miami hub because it's definitely an international gateway. The Barnes Invest Abroad team has local experts around the world. We give our clients access to real estate opportunities in key global markets. That said, we also provide them with high levels of advice and tailored services. Thank you.
There's a follow-up that came up for you also. Barnes is recognized the world over for its global network of relationships curated for more than a quarter century. The question is, what are some of the practices you've adopted to ensure your customers come first?
That's a great question, actually, George. So building a long-term relationship with our clients is our priority. We believe taking a personal approach is fundamental. It gives us a detailed understanding on how we can connect our clients with the perfect properties, whether residential or commercial. Again, establishing good relationship is absolutely essential. Thank you, George.
Yeah, that personal touch, Mehdi, definitely is something so important in this ever-connected world that we're dealing with now. Okay, another question came in. With all of the challenges of the COVID crisis, I'm thinking of switching careers and getting into luxury real estate. Okay, everyone defines success differently and has varying strategies to achieve it. What would you consider some of the principal drivers of your success thus far, and what advice can you give to me?
First of all, we are driven by the French art de vivre and excellence. Our clients understand the type of person they will encounter when working with us and the determination to give them the best experience. We are locally expert and globally informed. I insist on that phrase, but it's important. We are locally expert and globally informed. And we have access to an extensive inventory worldwide. In addition, our highly collaborative network of global team and experts in more than 90 offices, like Thibault showed earlier before he closed his statement, across the world, enable us to provide a worldwide service that connects people, properties diligently.
Now, Mehdi, let me ask you about this Invest Abroad program that Barnes is leading in the US. Can you tell me a little bit more about that particular initiative?
Yes, absolutely. Barnes Invest Abroad works with individuals, buyers and sellers, celebrities, family offices, and real estate companies in the cross-border acquisition of international property. We cover the residential, commercial, and the leisure sector. This allows us to bring you the very best the international property market has to offer while adding value and maximizing return on your investment.
Now, I know that Barnes doesn't necessarily have what people would consider the traditional real estate offerings. What are some options that you guys have that people may be surprised to hear that, that are available to them in terms of investing abroad?
Well, this is an exciting question. So our luxury home purchase includes skiing chalet, relaxing beach villa, majestic city penthouse, luxury condominiums, charming mansions, and vineyard. So whether you are contemplating a first purchase overseas or have a long dreamt of a Parisian lifestyle, playing golf in the coast of Portugal, or you are simply looking for a nice location to retire, you came to the right place.
All right, Mehdi, I have another question here that's coming in. This one seems to be, it's from an investor. Let's get it up here. Okay. I'm sorry, it's not coming through here. Oh, here it is. As an investor, access and options are very important to me. Why should I choose your firm over all the others? And what can you offer me that others can't? I think you've answered most of that, but if you want to elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah. So we specialize in identifying the most aggressive capital globally through our platform of 90 offices across the world. We have a strong track record of buying and selling real estate properties in international cities in combination with our local offices. So our distinctive access to ultra high network investors provide us with a unique access to the sharpest capital in the global marketplace. Thank you, George.
Oh, thank you. Is there anything else you want to add, Mehdi?
I would like to speak about important factors to consider before making a purchase overseas. Just few examples. The economic outlook, the inventory supply and demand, the path of progress, the opportunity for diversification, of course, and the cost of acquisition and disposal. Those factors are important to research and understand in full as well. I would like to talk about also the local currency, the legal fees, the notary fees, the registration fees, the insurance, and the tax. So we invited today Fabrice Marmousez from RSM to share with us his expertise on that topic. Thank you very much, George.
Thanks, Mehdi. Before we jump into the tax topics, we're going to go ahead and jump into some of the top markets that Barnes represents around the world. I see here we have first, we're going to do a check-in with Chloé over in London. Chloé, how's the recovery looking over there?
Thank you, George. The London's market is definitely in recovery following the prolonged downturn due to the Brexit uncertainty. Confidence bounced back after December's 2019 general election, reaffirming Boris Johnson Prime Minister's position. So an important point to mention for our investors abroad is the decline of the pound, because it took more or less 20% off since 2016. International investors are more attracted by the exclusive, safe, high-profile, and historically sound investment areas known as Kensington and Chelsea, Mayfair, Notting Hill, Knightsbridge, and even more now as uncertain times favor tangible and usable assets such as prime central London homes. London is geographically positioned between the EU and the US, so it represents most of the time the first investment in Europe for foreigners from North Americans, Asians, Middle Easterns, and as well the culture and education are in English. So to give you an example of the most sought after properties that we have is traditionally the 2 to 3 bedroom apartments in prime central London. This is between £1.5 million and £4 million. Meaning in dollars, it's 1.7 and 4.5 million dollars. As well, we have the family houses of 4 bedrooms and more, between 3.5 million and 6 million pounds. So that's $4 million and $7 million. So the new developments in the city neighborhood continue to attract investors, especially investors from Asia and the Middle East, as they can send their children to study in high-level schools and universities of London and in the UK, and rent out the property before or after. Very important to mention the central London rental yields, because it remains static with an average of 2.5 to 3% per year. And of course, the potential of strong capital growth after the COVID-19 crisis. When the market is strong, we know that this could equate to 10% growth per year in the next 2 to 3 years.
Thank you, Chloé. You have a question that came in here. I visited London regularly and am currently looking to invest in a flat to rent out while I'm away. Can you share a memorable experience you've had with clients who've ended up investing in London?
Yes, absolutely. That's a good question. That's a good question. Yes. Okay, I'm going to give you an example with a client that we have in Paris. So that was definitely Barnes network. She's British. She lives in Paris. We help her to buy a house in London. So we help her with a decorator and a builder to do the works. Then we have rented out the property to a Canadian family. And now we are doing the rent collection, of course, and the property management. So that means that you have absolutely nothing to do, basically nothing to do. We take care of everything.
Cool. Does anybody else from the panel have any questions for Chloé before we let her go?
Yes. Hi, Chloé. How are you?
Hi, Mehdi. I'm fine. Thank you.
Chloé, American families and investors love London. And can you tell us where this strong community lives and which neighborhood they prefer?
Yes. So we have a strong North American community in London, especially in Notting Hill, like the movie, and Holland Park. To give you an example, my daughter, who was, when she was younger, she was going at school in Notting Hill, and she was speaking with a hint of an American accent. So definitely a strong community in Notting Hill, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Chloé. I see here we're going to be moving now over to Madrid. Christophe is over there for a check-in. What can we expect over in Spain in the coming days and weeks, Christophe?
Okay, so the good news about Madrid is the people who wanted to buy before the crisis still want to buy. The only thing is they ask for more services. They want something bigger. They want terrace, garage, maybe a better location, but the trend is still on. What we saw in 2019, the real estate market in Madrid was at its top with the highest price. And at the end of 2019 and beginning of this year, we start to see a slight drop in terms of prices and number of sales. And we think that this trend will go on till the end of 2020 or beginning of next year. The consensus is to get a drop in price about 10 to 15% and a drop in terms of number of sales by 30%. So it means that you will have some opportunities for people who have liquidities to invest in Madrid.
Those numbers sound great, Christophe. Is there anything you can share with us about the lifestyle in Spain, you being based there, and any major attractors that people can look forward to when investing in, specifically in Madrid?
Yeah, sure. Well, you know, Madrid has got a Mediterranean soul, so it's a great city, and usually people who come to Madrid, they want to stay here. Spanish people, they like to go out, they like to go to bar and restaurants, so it's quite very enjoyable. You know, in Madrid, you have the good thing is you have a good area, and for people who are coming from outside EU, if they invest more than 500,000 euro in an apartment, they can get a golden visa. And basically, the golden visa will allow you to live and to work in Spain and in Europe for you, your wife or husband, and your children. So what we saw the past years were many people from Latin America, example, who decided to buy in Madrid and apply for the golden visa.
Awesome, Christophe. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any additional questions for Christophe before we move on to St. Barts?
Hey, Christophe.
Hi,
it's Mehdi. Madrid lifestyle is a little bit similar to Miami lifestyle, as far as, you know, the weather and many other things, and the nightlife. We have a lot of South American people in Miami that often call us and are interested in the Madrid market. Can you tell us a little bit about which nationalities are mostly interested in that, to live or to move in Miami?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, because of historical and cultural relation, the thing is we have a very strong Latin American community. The past 4 years, we had many people investing from Venezuela. The last 18 months, we had many people coming from Mexico. Of course, we have also people coming from other Latin American countries. And on our side, we are working a lot with your office, Miami, because you know that you have customers who want to buy in Madrid or want to sell their apartments, and we are connecting to deal with this kind of demand. Usually what we see is Latin American people, when they come to Madrid, they want to buy in the prime district. And the prime district is called Salamanca, which is close to the park of Retiro. And this is where you find the finest building. You have big apartments, about 150 to 300 square meters. You have all the top luxury brands, all the best restaurants in town. It's a very quiet district and very safe. So people, they enjoy to live in this part of Madrid.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christophe. We're going to go ahead and meet now with Xavier from St. Barts. Xavier, how's it going over there in St. Barts?
Hey, Jorge. Very good.
Hey.
Thank you.
Over there in paradise, Xavier.
Yeah. Exactly. Everything is great. We just will be released from the confinement on Monday. So everything is cool. We'll be back to work. And I wanted to talk a little about the market after the Krona Crisis. So of course, we have mostly the market of transaction, which is on hold. The local government is doing everything they can to reopen the island in the most safest way. And concerning rentals, everything seems to be coming back, and all the demand are for now for the next Thanksgiving. So a lot of demand. We are really confident in the market, because the market has shown is known to be extremely steady for the past 40 years. As you know, St. Barts is a dream destination, and we have a lot of assets. The keys of our success is a good weather all year long, high level security for people and property. For instance, you can imagine that I don't even lock my house or even my car. That's very comfortable. Also, St. Barts is known to be the little France in the Caribbean. We have a lot of gourmet restaurants, 5-star hotel with a service à la française, even in the premium charming villas in St. Barts. So we have a lot of let's say assets to be really confident in the future and in the real estate market. That is a real safe haven value since a very long time. And also you might know that we have the chance to be tax-free, so there is no tax at all on the island, not on local incomes, and also not any taxes on the real estate. So that's a very interesting for all our investors. So when you come down to St. Barts, you're really sure not to have any taxes while owning your property.
Thank you, Xavier, for that update. I want to ask all the panelists, does anybody else have any additional questions for Xavier?
Hey, Xavier, how are you? It's Mehdi again. So St. Barts is a dream location and a unique destination. A lot of American families from the New York, the north of Americas, they like to go to St. Barts and live there on vacation or purchase properties or rent properties. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And if you can tell us whether they are American from the north of the US or they are in general from all over the United States?
No, mainly, of course, let's say 70% are coming from the northeast and mainly from New York, the state of New York. They're usually coming for quite a long time. Some of them like for 3 months in a year, or some of them all the winter. I think what they really love in St. Barts is that they plainly leave the island. I mean, like driving, shopping, cooking. They really feel at home, and the locals are extremely friendly. And I mean, you really feel at home in St. Barts, even when you're American. It's a very
that actually goes a little bit into a question that just came in. With so little property to sell, I mean, you're an island. There's only so much you could expand. How do you expand your portfolio on the island on St. Barts? I guess this question came in from an investor.
Yeah, can you say again? Can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. St. Bart's market is limited in space. It's an island with so little property to sell. How do you expand your portfolio?
Well, it's very small, of course, but we build a lot. Let's say that we have an extra 40 premium villa coming, being built every year. So we're expanding like that. A lot of renovation. For instance, after Irma, all the villas have been really highly reconstructed, rebuilt, and decorated. So the level really got on top. It was already really high, but now it's one of the best standards in the whole Caribbean. So that's the way we extend our portfolio. And on the other hand, as we have a lot of demand and more demand than the offers, so that's how the prices rises.
Yeah.
You might not know it, but St. Barts real estate market is just astonished by the fact that it has been rising since 40 years at an average rate of, let's say, approaching 10% yearly, with no failure, no matter any worldwide economic crisis or major hurricane like the one we had in 1995 or 2 years ago. So, I mean, it's just heaven for the investor.
Thank you, Fabrice. And we just got a question actually for Chloé. Chloé, are you still on?
Yes, I'm still on.
Right. We received a question here. It says, for an individual, is it better to invest in the UK directly or through a UK company?
Ah, that's a good question. It's definitely up to you. It's definitely your call. As you can write. I'm not a specialist in taxes, but what I can say is Fabrice is much way better than me. But yes, you can absolutely buy as an individual. You know, with the Brexit, we were expecting something down for the stamp duty. And in fact, for the foreigners, it's been increasing only of 3%. So it's quite interesting. It's still interesting to buy as a person, as an individual. If you want to go through a company, you can. There are lots of companies. We have as well companies in Jersey for foreigners. So it's definitely open.
Great, thank you, Chloé. I guess that's a great transition into our next panelist with RSN as well. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I just interrupted you, but I'm sure Fabrice, we could maybe answer that question as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we have a bunch of questions that have come in for Fabrice since we started. So I'm looking forward to introducing him. So Fabrice, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you, Jorge. Good morning to those who are in the morning, and good afternoon for those that are already in the afternoon. I'm very happy and thank the Barnes International Investor Board for welcoming me today. By way of introduction, my name is Fabrice Marmousez. I'm a French and US CPA working in Miami. I'm working for the Southeast region regarding RSM. RSM is an international network and has got a lot of common points with Barnes International. First, we are a worldwide company as Barnes International, and we cover you back whatever you could go, wherever you could go. Second, we got the same kind of investors, and this is very important because many international networks are trying to work with big companies. We are very different from the others because we are working with investors. I mean, individuals, family offices, owners of privately held companies or groups. And these are the people who are searching for many answers to the questions. So I would like to share a few slides with you if you allow me to do that, guys. Let me do it. Okay, I think, no, it's not this one. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so it starts with RSM US services for foreign direct investors. Do you see that slide? Okay,
Yes.
I'm not having the feedback from that, but it's not a problem. So first, I would like to say that, as I just told before, we are an international network, but we are focusing on individuals, family offices, and owners of middle market companies, I would say. It could be businesses, it could be groups. We have many professionals all around the world that could assist you to do that. We talked just before with the questions regarding London about the tax structuring of your investment, and we are doing that on a day-to-day basis, of course. But how can we do that differently? Barnes is doing things differently. We are doing either, and we got the same kind of approach. Maybe it's not the French art de vivre, but it's a kind of French touch regarding the advice you can have from us. Because I'm working with most of the time with French-speaking clients, of course, because I'm French. But the way I work with my clients, I'm a single point of contact for them. So I can explain them because I'm involved in I'm not working alone, of course. I'm involved in a bigger, much bigger team, 150 professionals, having the ability to connect to the people coming from different locations, explaining them and taking the time to explain how it goes regarding their own tax country regime, for instance, but as well as other tax regimes that are located where they invest, where they decide to invest. So, and we do that with the native language of these investors, and this is something good usually for them because we can explain them better. They can, and we are doing many comparisons between what is existing in their home country and abroad. We got different desks that we dedicated to that because most of the people that are coming to the US, because we got investors coming from abroad investing in the US, that's what we call the inbound investors. They're coming most of the time from Europe. And of course, there are other locations that are investing in the US, but United Kingdom is investing a lot. France is investing a lot in the US because there are many opportunities to do that. But of course, being in the US is maybe investing in the same area. When we're talking about Saint Barts, for instance, it could be that. And some people, French citizens, are living abroad. Some of them are living in Spain, for instance, or are living in Portugal, which is a very interesting thing regarding tax matters, for instance. So we are covering all the countries that you can see just right now in blue, and we got the countries in green that are just summarizing where we have the different desks that are working together, representing the different places where you got foreign investments. Our job, our core business is first usually dealing with tax. But it's not only that. We are performing audit services and consulting services. And it comes to another thing that I wanted to share with you today, which is the foreign investment life cycle. When you invest for real estate, for instance, you want to understand how it goes with the tax on this location, and you want to understand the way you have to structure your tax, your ownership regarding your home tax regime, I would say. So you enter to a market. When you enter to a market, usually you're not investing all your assets in the same time. You're doing things step by step. And this is the first thing we're doing usually. Doing tax structuring, for instance, is one of the first steps that we're doing with the investors we work with. Second, when you have invested and you see that it's worth investing in this country, in this location, you want to expand because you have a better knowledge of the market, you have a better knowledge of the way tax works and so on. Because going on the go, working with you, you are coming to a deeper knowledge of the way the tax are going. And the third part of the life cycle is optimizing your assets to make these assets grow in the country of destination, and to keep you in control. Because if you're not always there, you need to have the control of on your activities. And so if you're investing in a business, if you're investing in real estate, you have Barnes that is managing the property. If you're investing in a business, you don't have Barnes doing that. You have RSN doing that for you, helping you to do that, because you're always the owner of the business. But you need tools, you need advice, you need market views, you need market insights, and we got all that for you. So that's the way we're working usually with the clients, and the way that I think people are pleased to work with us, because we take the time to understand them and to explain them.
Fabrice, you're getting a lot of questions sent to us, so I'm just going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and start with that specific UK question that was directed to Chloé.
Yeah.
For an individual, is it better to invest in the UK directly or through a UK company?
I think that the tax structure, there is no right answer to that question, because it depends on a lot of topics. Usually, I would say that whatever the destination would be, it's good to invest as an individual if you have the opportunity to invest for yourself as a home you will keep for yourself. Once you decide to go for investing for renting or having activities providing a basis of your business that you want to expand in another location from your account, different from your country, then you probably would have, through a tax structuring that is a little more complex, and probably through the company or incorporating a company. So there is no real absolute answer to that. But what I can say from my experience and from the network's experience is that usually, if you have the opportunity to invest for yourself, stay simple. It's most cost effective for you. If you go complex and you don't have the use for that, you will just waste money for nothing. So that's the best answer I can give regarding the frame, which is very wide of the question.
Good. And we have one more question that came in for you. I think this is a pretty big one. We hear a lot about the changes to the taxation of real estate for foreigners. Is that in any way slowing the investment requests, or is it just a myth?
So the tax reforms regarding, I didn't catch the precise term of the question regarding the real investment for?
Yeah, changes to the taxation of real estate for foreigners. Is that in any way slowing the investment requests, or is it just a myth?
I don't know if it's a myth or not, but what I can tell you from my own experience is that, in fact, foreigners, for instance, investing in the US market can benefit from certain advantages they wouldn't have in France. I'm specialized with France, for instance, so I will talk about the things that I'm knowing the most, you know. In France, when you invest in real estate, you are not able to depreciate the goods. If you're investing here in the US and you're starting to rent your property, you are able to benefit from the system of depreciation, which is very tax effective. And it's not a big change because it has already been existing for long. But what I can say is that since Donald Trump was elected, the tax system was reviewed in the US and is more advantageous for everyone, even for foreign investors. So I think that if you're doing the right structuring, and it comes to the previous question already, of course, if you do the good tax structuring, whatever the changes in the tax laws, if you know what you're doing, if you know what you want to, what would be the use of your investment, and it's the best driver to my opinion.
Thank you, Fabrice. We just have a couple more minutes. I just wanted to conclude and ask any of the panelists if they had any additional things that they wanted to share with our audience.
I think I wanted to share a nice story, a little bit one that resembles to Chloé. I have a great client of mine. He's an international soccer player. His name is Marwan, who travels the world, and he's been purchasing properties with Barnes, and we are really giving him a white glove service. So we helped him to buy an apartment in Brussels. We're looking for him to buy a house in Miami. He requested to help him with all his real estate needs. And we really we have this proximity with our clients because we prioritize their needs. And this is just an example that I wanted to share with you for those who like football and international football. It was something that I wanted to share as far as of the complete service that we give him, whether it's from buying the apartment to upgrade the apartment to furnish his apartment. He gave us the total control of that, and he's super happy, and he can do his profession well.
That's a great story, Mehdi. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, just to confirm that Mehdi is right. We have many clients now who are global and who have global needs. And that's where we can really help them because, you know, sometimes it's difficult to find the right specialist in each big city in the world or in each key location. So that's where we can help them because, you know, trust is probably the main thing when you work with real estate brokers. So when you have trust because you've done a few purchase or a few investment with Barnes, then you can be you can work on the long term, and that's the best way to do, and that's what we do. Also, we work also a lot of with confidentiality, and I just wanted to confirm that of course the client that Mehdi told us about, authorized us to say his name, so that's why we did it, and because otherwise we always keep it.
Actually, I am trying to put his testimony so you guys can see that you know, he's really supporting us and he's very.
Fabrice, so I think you need to stop. I'm sorry to interrupt. I think you need to stop sharing your screen so that we can get the.
Sorry.
I was typing this to Fabrice.
Okay.
By the way, Mehdi, could you please tell your clients that all the major professional football player, mostly French but also international, already have a villa in Saint Barts?
It's on the way. It's on the way, Xavier. It's on the way.
By the way, we also do the full package services. Not to show off, but we had the opportunity to accompany a client in the acquisition of a big plot of land, and now we'll be on the way to build the entire villa, well, 2 villas, and then we'll have of course the oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
Building the plan and furnishing and decorating and so on, even to find a good manager, the guy for the pool, for the garden, and food service also in Saint Barts.
Well, I wanted to thank everyone who participated today, including our panelists and our audience of international real estate investors and real estate enthusiasts. Until next time, stay safe, stay positive, and keep investing. Thank you all for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I would like to thank all of you, all the participants as well, and the people that join us in this webinar. Don't hesitate to contact us. We're gonna put an email address for you guys if you have more questions. We will prioritize your question and answer as clear as possible. Again, thank you for those who joined the webinar. We hope that we gave you a little overall of what Barnes, International Realty, and Barnes Investment are doing throughout the world. And we look forward to hear from you very soon.
You can put the address. Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a nice day.